Hey guys, just Rob again, just doing another video, doing another sort of in my series of sort of animated films from my collection. Today I've actually got sort of 3 films, all done by the same director, sort of 3 sort of French, sort of weird sort of sci-fi style movies. So he's sort of 3 sort of full-length features that he sort of made over his career. Now I won't actually perhaps try to pronounce his name because I wouldn't have a clue how to pronounce that, so I might just leave a little thing on the bottom there saying his name. I'll also perhaps in the description as well. It's 3 sort of films that I've sort of watched over, a couple of times over the years, and just sort of like watching them because they're sort of a bit strange and a bit sort of out there. Yeah, so the first film is probably the most sort of well known of his sort of films that he sort of made. That would be Fantastic Planet, which came out in 1973. Sort of strange and very sort of weird sort of 70s sort of art style to it. So it's about sort of two sort of races, I guess. You've got the sort of the humanoid sort of creatures called Oms. Then you've got sort of blue giant creatures, alien creatures. I think they're called drags. So actually, sort of the film's about this sort of this young. Well, the film sort of starts out with a mother and her infant son, and the mother sort of dies, and so this little infant sort of left defenseless type thing, and this sort of little girl, sort of alien, sort of comes along and sort of rescues him type thing, and so that's essentially what sort of the first half of the movie's about, just sort of about him sort of growing up and their relationship type thing, and then the second half is sort of when he sort of grows up and he sort of escapes away from these sort of aliens that are, because they're sort of like the humans are sort of kept as pets type thing, or enslaved, or I don't know how you want to sort of say it, I suppose, open to interpretation, I guess. So he sort of escapes and sort of finds these, sort of meets up with these sort of other Ohms that are sort of wild and considered by vermin, by these alien creatures, I suppose, and they're trying to they sort of send out sort of like poison and try to poison them type thing. But yeah, very sort of interesting film and great sort of art design to it, and sort of sci-fi type sort of element to it, and some people sort of liken it sort of to, I guess, Avatar, because you've got the sort of blue creatures, and also perhaps there's a bit of Prometheus in there as well type thing, sort of wondering where the human race came from type thing, and perhaps some sort of alien influence type thing. But definitely if you're sort of perhaps a sort of fan of sort of animation, or just sort of weird sort of sci-fi type animation, it's definitely one sort of check out. It's just got some weird sort of creatures and just bizarre type elements to it. So that's Fantastic Planet. Second sort of full-length feature that he made, one called Time Masters, which came out in 1982. A different sort of storyline to it. It's sort of about the film sort of starts out with like a father and son, and they've sort of been attacked by these sort of giant hornets type insect type creatures, and trying to sort of escape in their sort of, I don't know, moon buggy type thing, and they sort of crash in. Father is really sort of badly hurt, and so basically he gives his son a little electronic device, like it's kind of like a microphone type thing, and tells him to sort of run into the forest, to try and just trying to sort of save him type thing. So the son sort of runs off, and the father, before he dies, he sort of makes contact with his friend. He's basically across the solar system or wherever, and sort of says, well, you've got to help me, look after my son type thing. So the rest of the film's just sort of about this 8 or 9 year old little boy sort of in the forest by himself, and he sort of listens to this little device, microphone device, and hearing a voice on it, and sort of being guided by the voice type thing, sort of while he sort of travels across the solar system, whatever, to go and save the boy. This is probably my favourite one out of the three films that I'm going to sort of show you. I just really like the sort of the storyline to it, and the characters, and but the end, how you sort of expect the film to end type thing. But yeah, great sort of weird sort of animation to it, and weird creatures and stuff like that. But yeah, that's another good one. Third film here, one called it's Gandahar. I think it's how you pronounce it, or the English version's just called Light Years. This film, 1988, this one came out. Perhaps a sort of mixture, I suppose, between sort of the first two films, I guess. This one has the same sort of, I don't know, some sort of elements, I suppose. The Fantastic Planet, or similar. Essentially, it's about this place called Gandahar, and this sort of peaceful human race, living tranquility type thing. And one day, these sort of black metallic men sort of come and sort of attack them, I suppose, and sort of shoot them with their lasers, and the humans sort of turn into stone, and the metal men sort of collect them all and sort of transport them, and they sort of drive through this kind of like a doorway. It's kind of like a doorway, I suppose, to like another dimension type thing. And then of course the human race sort of, the leaders of the race, they sort of sit around and decide, well, we've got to send like a warrior or someone to find out what's happening and sort of stop this from happening. So they send a warrior. He sort of, the rest of the film's just sort of about him sort of travelling across the country, I suppose, just, to try and find out what's happening, and sort of to defeat this sort of, it's like a creature type thing that sort of I don't sort of spoil what happens, I suppose, but it's the sort of creature thing, or it's this sort of entity type thing that's sort of causing all this, and there's sort of a reason behind it. But another sort of weird creatures again, and just another sort of sci-fi type storyline. Another sort of great sort of film. Yeah, so I'd probably perhaps recommend sort of watching all three of these sort of movies. The rest, especially if you're sort of a fan of just sort of animation, or just sort of weird sort of sci-fi type storylines, I guess. I sort of got the Blu-ray edition, just this one, which is actually not a bad sort of set. Sort of got the Blu-ray disc, and it's also got the DVD version. It also comes with like I think it's a 57-page booklet. It's got like it's like a 27-minute sort of documentary just about the director, and I think there's sort of 5 sort of short animated features as well, just other sort of things that he's sort of worked on. So that's a really good sort of set. Not too sure why it says this box is empty on there, but anyway, that's a bit strange. But anyway, so that's that. They also got the rest are just sort of DVDs. This is another sort of just official DVD, and it also comes with another booklet as well for that one. The third one this one's actually a bootleg. It's actually pretty hard to sort of track down like an official copy of this. I mean, you can go on Amazon, and it's very sort of expensive, and this is just sort of one I just sort of got off eBay. Someone was sort of selling a bootleg type version of it. Yeah, so that's my sort of quick sort of overview, just sort of those sort of 3 French films. As if for sort of films that a lot of people don't necessarily know about, and I sort of do sort of enjoy watching them just for their sort of weirdness and just for the art style to them. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you sort of enjoyed that. If you've got any requests on animated films that you perhaps want me to talk about or anything like that, I'd certainly be sort of open to that. Thanks for watching.